Hey guys, how's it going? This is James Tripp. This is a question from Chins that was asked on the Hypnosis Without Trance blog. And it's a question following a video I put up about powerful communication, where I talked about being clear about what you want and aligning yourself around your intent. Now, Chins asks a really good question here. The question is this: James, what if you don't know what you want? Really, you just have feelings. Like, you might have feelings of attraction towards somebody, but you don't know if you want a relationship with them. And if you were to have a relationship, you don't know what kind of relationship you'd want. So you just have these feelings. These feelings are there towards them. So what do? You don't know specifically what you want. You've just got these feelings. So this is a really good question, because most people don't have very much consciousness about what they want in life. They just have feelings. They just go with their feelings. They follow their feelings. They flow with their feelings. This often leads them to show up in the world in a very uncertain way, very unpredictable way. They change kind of direction, this sort of thing. Now, I remember many, many years ago, when I first started studying NLP and influential communication, I was introduced to this idea of getting clear about what you want. And it was mind-blowing for me. At the time, I'd spent my whole life just wandering around, just going on impulse, acting on impulse, so to speak, driven by whatever feelings. I'd move towards what I felt drawn towards in my feelings, and I'd move away from what I felt driven away from in my feelings. And it was weird to suddenly start connecting to what I wanted, and it wasn't immediately obvious. It wasn't immediately obvious. Now, there's an ancient piece of wisdom. There's the oracle at Delphi. Allegedly, it used to say above the door of the temple of Apollo, it used to say, "Know thyself. Know thyself." And this is a really profound piece of advice. Know thyself. A lot of people think, oh yeah, know thyself. That means know what kind of person I am. That means know my personality, all of this. Everybody's got an idea about what kind of person they are. It's called their ego. It's all the stories they tell themselves about who they are and all of that. But it doesn't really tell them anything about who they are. What know thyself means is know yourself on a deeper level. Come to know what sort of things you like, what your values are in life, what matters to you, what you want to achieve, what kind of a difference do you want to make. This is what I think know thyself means. It's about deeper questions. It's the kind of questions that most people do not ask themselves in their lives, because they go around with very low levels of consciousness to who they are, what they're about, what matters to them, what difference they want to make. Very low levels of consciousness, just unconsciously reacting to feelings, just being drawn about by the tides of life, by the tides of their feelings. Now, I'm going to suggest to you, this is one way to live, this is the way most people live, but if you really want to live an empowered life, if you want to be the kind of person that starts to really make the kind of difference that counts for you in life, well, you need to know what kind of difference counts for you. You need to get in touch with what you want. You need to switch on and switch up consciousness and start engaging with this question. So when I first was introduced to this idea, I found this really challenging. You know, I'd go about, on the bigger picture, I could start going, yeah, I think I want this. I think I want to do this in my career. And I think I want to do that. And I started to get a bit more of an outcome orientation in my career. But when it came to interpersonal relationships, those sorts of dynamics, I found it really challenging. I didn't know what I wanted. I had no idea. Why? Because I'd never engaged with that question. I'd never engaged with that process of discovery, of starting to discover things about myself, what I valued, what kinds of relationships I wanted. This isn't just something you go, oh yeah, I know that. This is a kind of knowledge you create, you uncover for yourself through a process of inquiry and reflection and getting to know yourself. So the answer to the question when you first ask it, what do I want, is not going to jump up and it's not going to become clear to you. And one of the things I often teach people is getting an answer to that question. What do I want to have happen here? What do I want to create here? What difference do I want to make here? The answers to those questions are less important than engaging with them. So next time you're in a situation you feel a certain way, use that feeling as a gateway to start knowing something about yourself. So instead of just taking it at the level of feeling, feel through the feeling. Ask yourself, what is this feeling about? What is it that I want? If I could have a certain kind of relationship with this person, what kind of relationship might it be? What would I like to create? What kind of difference? Ask yourself these questions. Feel your way into your system. Get a pen and paper. Start writing down whatever comes up. Don't get hung up on it being right. Keep your logical head out of it. This isn't about coming up with a final answer. It's about beginning to change the way you orientate in life and to start thinking differently. You will develop skill in this area. This thing is a skill. Over time of doing this and engaging with this, you start to become the sort of person who can very quickly and very easily get clarity around what it is that you want, what you want to create in the world, what difference you want to make, what you want to have happen. And that clarity starts to become a companion that's with you at all times. Now, when you have that clarity, it's a clarity you develop through the practice of engaging with these sorts of inquiries. When you have that clarity, it changes the way you show up in life, and it changes your ability. It upgrades your ability to be able to communicate effectively to make the kind of differences you want to make. So by shrugging and going, but I don't know what I want, I'm going to suggest that's a cop-out. Start finding out. Start finding out who you are, what matters to you in life, what kind of things you want to create. Engage with this process of discovering these things. Then you will become that person who knows yourself deeply, knows your wants and your desires deeply, knows what drives you deeply. This is the key. I've often said this before. To become influential, the first person you want to influence is yourself. Okay, the first person you want to make a difference with is yourself. You want to become centered and clear in yourself. Then you can seriously start talking about trying to influence the world around you. People that go to learn conversational hypnosis, go to learn influence and persuasion techniques and all of this sort of thing, whilst having no idea of who they are, what their values are, what they want to create in life, what kind of differences they want to make. When they have no idea of that, there's no basis for it. It's like shooting a cannon from a canoe. You can't do it. The whole thing just flips over and capsizes, and that's the end of that. So it's a great question, Chins. It's a fantastic question. My answer to you is look inside, go deeper, begin a process of authoring yourself and discovering and creating your own values, your own orientation in life, what you want. Create you, step up, create your own outcomes, create your own desires, rather than just being passively this person. I am who I am, I'm just how I ended up. It's just my personality. I just have these feelings. I just get pulled around by the tides of life. You know, it's one way to live, but it's not a way to live that I would advocate if you really want to lead a fulfilling and prosperous life. I've just watched back what I've just recorded, and there's something really important I want to add here. And it is, I don't want to have given the impression that there is some truth to who we are that we need to uncover. Some true desires, some true wants that we need to uncover. There aren't any, okay? There is no true us. We are fluid. We are who we are because that's the way we've been shaped, that's the way we were moulded by society and all of this. But what I would suggest to you is you are still fluid, you are still malleable. There is no true you to discover, there are no true desires to discover. You are in charge of your own life and your own destiny. When you switch up to that, when you switch on to that, when you take responsibility for that. So you get to choose what you want. You get to choose. You may not know this yet. You may have all sorts of ideas and thoughts and things that get in the way. But you, as a system, as an organism in totality, you are empowered. So when you think about, I don't know what I want, one of the best pieces of advice I could give, to add on to everything I've just said, is decide. Simply decide what you want. Don't think that what you want is somehow inherent within you. Of course there are desires that are bubbling within your system, but that doesn't negate that you are a conscious human being that has the power to choose and decide and shape your own destiny and flow in life. So remember that. When you stop and you think, well, I don't know what I want here. Well, remember you get to decide what you want. You get to consult with yourself and decide what you want. You can do that anytime. It's a really cool thing to do. So if you want to start learning and practicing doing that, go for it, because it's really going to enrich your life.